Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Gardening with Mary Ellen and I am Mary Ellen. I live in North Carolina in the central part and I am in zone 7B. So today is March 14th and our last projected frost is around April 15th. So I have about a month until I get to transplant stuff. So I live at my parents' house and we have a nice garden area back here. I have 5 raised beds. They're barely raised beds. They're about 4 to 6 inches. Either 2x4s or 2x6s were used to construct them. So they aren't very raised, but I also have some grow bags that I grow things in, as well as different terracotta pots and all that. So there's some variety. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you what's going on inside in my seed starting area. I grow most everything from seed unless something dies or I see something intriguing at the garden center. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go in and show you guys what's going on. But before I do that, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one. Alright, so here is my setup. We are down in the basement and I have 2 metal racks that I got at Walmart. They are 5-tier or 5-shelf and they work wonderfully. And I have 4 of these shop lights. I got them at Lowe's and then they have T8 bulbs in here. And I will put down below a little blurb about the lumen and Kelvin you should look for when you get these T8 bulbs or even T12 bulbs, what works best for a DIY grow light setup. But it works really, really well, and I've had them for, I guess, a year now. So, I have quite a lot going on. I guess we'll start over here. So, in this tray, we have some flowers. This is borage. We have, what's this? Foxglove. We have some tomatillos back there, as well as some habanada peppers. We have some rosy finch micro dwarf tomatoes, as well as some other ones that did not germinate. We have some basil back there and some more micro dwarf tomatoes that did come up. This is, gosh, I can't pronounce this, Craspedia? Whoa. I will insert a picture of what they look like. They're funny looking. And here we have some calendula that I just started today, zeolites variety. And have some tomatoes, the Super Sue that I re-sowed, and as you can see, it germinated. And have some peppers that I'm waiting on back there. And then this little tomato container are some marigolds that I just started. This first shelf is stuff that I have not potted up and or things that I am having to re-sow and freshly sown seeds. So like a lot of my flowers, I'm going to start in the next week or so, since we have about 4 weeks left before we can put stuff outside. Here I have some more basil that I'm in the process of potting up. Here I have some couple peppers and a couple tomatoes that I have to pot up, as well as some peppers back there. Have some coleus here that's looking really nice. And then back there are some snapdragons. And here are some re-sown Better Boy tomatoes that have yet to germinate, but we will see if they do. So that's kind of the end of the small seedlings slash in progress seedlings. And I will move down here. These are mostly tomatoes that I potted up probably 5 days ago or so. as well as some catmint. I will get to that later. I'm growing, I believe, 12 to 15 varieties of tomatoes. These guys were all started around Valentine's Day, so that's roughly 4 weeks ago. But yeah, they're looking really nice, and I think they're going to love their new homes. Have a couple basil that I potted up, some more tomatoes, and then these peppers. These were sown around January 18th or so, so they are pretty old. I think they are about 8 weeks old. So they're looking really great, and by the time April 15th rolls around, they will be ready to go in the ground. So here I have some catmint, and I have some more still in the seedling trays that I started, and I'm going to be popping these around my squash to hopefully prevent squash vine borer damage. That's one of my tactics this year. But I think really a lot of herbs that have a scent will help deter any sort of pest. So we're going to try that this year. And then moving over here, I have some seed starting mix that I'm in the middle of using. These are all dahlia tubers that need to be watered. Oh look, you can see that one has started to come up, which is exciting. I think that is a Crazy Love dahlia. Yeah, oh, that's cool. All right, and then up here I have a couple tubers that have pre-sprouted, or that I am pre-sprouting. So those are looking really awesome. And there are a couple more nodules. You can see that one that is starting to come up. And there's one more on the base of this guy. It's hard to tell, but those are looking good. Here I have all of my seed dahlias. So these guys are about probably like 4 weeks younger or so than these guys. As you can see, they're a lot bigger, but they're super happy. And I've yet to decide what my method of planting these in the garden will be. I might do grow bags, not so sure yet. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. All right, moving up here, I have some lavender, and then this is spearmint. Behind these guys, I have my strawberries. These are alpine strawberries, and they are, I think, red and yellow something variety. They're from Botanical Interest, and I think they are the only strawberry seeds that Botanical Interest sells, so that should make it easier to find. Then I have Leeks here in this round container, and a slew of different onion varieties here. And oops, these will get transplanted out in the garden, as well as everything else. And these are my peppers. And I have one eggplant in the back here, and they were all started around the same time, that, you know, mid to late January, and they're super happy and healthy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. A very abbreviated walkthrough of my seed starting area. I do use some humidity domes when I first start seeds to help aid in germination. But yeah, I am pretty excited to get these transplanted here in a few weeks. I will be sharing all the different varieties that I have sown. I always think that's interesting. Okay, so I figured since showing the seed starting area Didn't take very long. I would go over all of the varieties that I have sown in there, and really just all of my varieties that I plan on putting in this year's garden. So I'm going to start with my peppers. Let's see, I have a list because there's no way I would be able to remember everything. And I just went ahead and brought my seeds out here, and I am going to kind of show the seed pack and what it looks like as I go through each variety. Figure that would be easier than going online and searching for all of these for a picture. I will put some photos on the screen for flowers, since I'm not going to go very in depth for as far as varieties go, but I will pop up a few for each flower type. Okay, so I have 8 pepper varieties that I'm planning on growing, or that I've already grown. So I'm going to start off with this Burpee Sweet Pepper Blend, a Carnival Blend, and then I have a Greek Peppercini. Then all the rest of these are from Botanical Interests. Those 2 are from Burpee. I think I just said that. We have Early Jalapeno, Poblano, Jimmy Nardello, Sweet Belle Blend, California Wonder, Golden Cal Wonder, which I don't think any of these actually germinated, so I don't think I'm growing these. And then we have an eggplant, which I included with the peppers since it's also a nightshade. This is the Listada de Gandia. I'm sorry. I'm not a huge eggplant fan from what I've had, but I figured it would be fun to grow this and see if I like it. The description says thin skin, mild flavor, and tender texture. So hopefully I'll like this. Alright, next up I'm going to go over my onions, and I'm not going to provide pictures because most of my seeds are from Etsy, so they don't have a photo on the packet. So I will denote if it is a yellow or a red. And I'm going to start off with my 2 leek varieties. I have King Richard leek and American flag, I think. I think I threw away the seed pack, so I don't remember what exact variety it is, but I think it's American flag. And then for my red onions, I have red Creole and red Burgundy. And I have 1 spring onion. It is the white Lisbon. And then the rest of the onions are yellow. So I have a yellow Granex, and then I have a Texas Early Grano. I think that's it. Those are my onions and leeks. And next up, I will go over my tomato varieties. This is my favorite thing to grow. I am obsessed with tomatoes. Last year I did mostly heirloom, and everything got diseased like pretty quickly, so I'm incorporating more hybrids this year, and my method for growing is going to be a little bit different. As you can see in the background, I have some cattle panel trellises that I'm going to grow my tomatoes up. So hopefully that will ensure more airflow and more support to them. Last year I mainly did tomato stakes, and it was just messy. Okay, starting off with my paste tomatoes, I have Ace 55, which is a determinate. Then I have Aroma VF, which is also determinate. Then we have a super sauce hybrid from Burpee. Supposedly these get up to 2 pounds per fruit, so that will be interesting to grow. And I also want to try my hand at canning this year. I canned one batch of salsa last year and it was really fun. So I want to try some tomato sauce as well as more salsas. So next up are my slicer varieties. These are all indeterminate, so they will be growing up a trellis. And I will be doing a garden tour video, and I will show you where I plan to put my paste tomatoes. But like I said, the slicers and then the cherries will be on either side of the trellis. So starting off, black krim, beefsteak, Cherokee purple, Better Boy hybrid, and Rutgers, which I think is also a hybrid. I should know, but I don't. And then my cherry type tomatoes, we have a Baby Boomer hybrid, and these are actually an indeterminate variety, so they grow best in like containers. And then I have Gardener's Delight Pole Cherry. So those Baby Boomers will not be on a trellis, they will be elsewhere. But all the rest of these will be on the trellis. So we have a Super Sweet 100 Cherry, which is also a hybrid, and then Yellow Pear. So Yellow Pear was one of the first things to get diseased last year. I do think I had a lot more moisture in my garden. We have like a lot of crazy weeds, and I didn't have really any weed control in between the raised beds, so they held on to a lot of moisture. And we can have humid summers in North Carolina, in the central part at least. I live in the Triangle area in Durham. So since then I've laid down mulch in between all the beds, so I think that's going to keep the excess moisture at bay. So hopefully that will be less diseases. And I'm going to kind of alternate between hybrid and heirloom varieties for tomatoes, so hopefully that'll help too. Alright, quickly I'm going to go over all of my herbs. Some of these I'm starting, like basil and my spearmint. I'll just go over them. So what I have started inside, I have Genovese basil and Viva la Dulce Vida basil. I have spearmint that I started, as well as lavender, and also catmint. I have an herb box over there that has something still in it from last year that I've kind of overwintered / are coming alive after the winter. And those things are lemon balm, cilantro. I actually don't think cilantro survived, so I will be resowing some. Have parsley, rosemary, oregano and thyme. I will be reseeding the oregano and the thyme, and the dill. I have dill. I think that kind of covers the herbs. I've tried to start rosemary and it just doesn't work. It's kind of notoriously difficult to start from seed, so I have some starts. One start that I bought last year that didn't really do too well in that herb box, so I got another start, but I haven't planted it yet. So I'm going to do some research to see if maybe it's a bad spot for the rosemary, or I just didn't have good luck with that last year. I'm going to be interplanting a lot more dill into my garden. I love dill and I didn't plant enough last year. Alright, moving on to my cucurbits and melons. I have 2 more trellises like that I will put elsewhere in the garden, and my cucumbers will be growing up those. Possibly some beans too, but I'll get to those. So first off, this is technically a melon, but it's an Armenian cucumber. Then we have Space Master 80. And then Homemade Pickles cucumber. So I only planted, well, I think I planted all of these last year, but only the Armenian cucumber did well because I didn't have adequate support slash places for the cucumbers to go. I ended up buying a couple starts that did produce cucumbers, so that was fun. But the Armenian cucumber only produced one all year, so that was kind of odd. Hopefully it will produce more this year. Alright, moving on to melons. I have Hale's Best Jumbo Cantaloupe. Sugar Baby Watermelon. And then I have 3 pumpkins, which are technically squash. I'll save those for the squash. So, I've never really tried melons. I've halfway tried them, but this year will be the year for melons. I really want to grow a cantaloupe and grow a watermelon. So, I am excited, and I think I have better garden area for these melons. I didn't really have any good in-ground space last year, but since everything is mulched over now, I am actually getting more soil delivered on Thursday this week, and so I'm going to create some in-ground beds on top of the mulch that I think will be great for these watermelon, as well as some other stuff. Alright, moving on to squash. It suddenly got bright. I'm going to start with my winter squash, which doesn't mean you grow them in winter. It just is winter squash and summer squash. Winter squash have like a tougher skin, and then summer squash has a really like soft, tender skin. I'm not sure what the other differences are, but we have spaghetti squash, walnut butternut, Jarradale pumpkin, I might be mispronouncing that, Cinderella pumpkin, and Lumina pumpkin. Hopefully these pumpkins will save me money in the fall when I go to decorate the house. And then we have green striped cushaw. Supposedly winter squash are less or are more resilient to squash bugs and squash vine borers, so we'll see. And then my summer squash, we have golden egg hybrid. I won these as well as these super sauce tomatoes in a giveaway that Burpee did. Then we have a tricolor patty pan, early prolific straight neck, and black beauty. So I'm gonna go into more detail with like where I'm going to plant these squash as well as everything else in my garden tour video. Alright, I have 2 varieties of corn. Sweet corn, we have Martian Jewel and Butter Gold. Excited about those. I haven't grown corn successfully yet, but again, this year is the year for that. Alright, I have quite a few beans. I've learned that I prefer bush beans over pole beans because pole beans are stringier, and even if they're stringless, I don't think they are stringless, truly. But I'll go through all of them. So we have bush beans first. I have Cherokee Wax, which is a yellow, just fun. And then I have a Contender bush bean. And Gold Rush, which is another yellow bush bean. See that? Whoa. I have one variety of pole bean, which is the Kentucky Wonder. I'll probably still grow it, but grow less. I grew quite a lot of this variety, and it produces a lot. And then I have these snap peas, which are the Sugar Magnolia, which is this beautiful purple. Alright, I think that covers most of the varieties that I am going to plan. Oh, I will go over flowers really quick. So we have, I'm planning on growing calendula, zinnia, coleus, snapdragons, borage, foxglove, marigolds, and craspedia, and also asters. And then the varieties of dahlias that I'm growing inside. The seed dahlias are the decorative double from Botanical Interest. And then the tubers are Crazy Love, Pastel Mix, and Seattle. And those I all got from like Lowe's. So yeah, that is the end of the seeds. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you are as excited for more videos as I am, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.